G'day guys, down the creek this morning, wanting to try out a new little modification, you could say, that I've made for the high banker. So what I initially did was the punch plate just here that comes with it. I put a little bend in here, so it's like a little V, you could say. And I was hoping that was going to stop the build up, because what was happening as the water's flowing down from up here, so as the water's getting sprayed up there, flowing back down, all the rocks and stuff were coming here, and then what was happening is the water was coming over those rocks and out the back of the unit. And sort of thought about it, thinking how I'm going to do it. So that was the first little thing that I did, and it didn't really work. So what I got is this plate here. It's just bent over on the sides. It's reasonably loose because I knew that rocks were going to get stuck in the sides, and they were going to cause, an issue of it jamming. What was my plan with this? Was to set the rocks off the base, so that as you're pumping water up, what tends to happen is the rocks all wash down to this section, start blocking the punch plate up, and it spills water over the sides. So what I'm thinking is having that sort of channel underneath is going to create the water to go through here. The larger rocks and some of the material that isn't washed off clean is going to sit above. And I have tried this a few times this week, but what's happened is when I did the time lapse to demonstrate, my time lapse is messed up, so I thought I'll redo it again. I initially did do it with a wraparound spray bar, but today I'm just going to use back to this spray bar here. Alright, I'm going to set the camera up and give you like a 30-minute time lapse of me running this thing. Then you can see what's going on with the water. So I'll zoom in onto this section, and then I'll finish off with what happened and how it all went. Alright guys, so what you should see in the time lapse, that if anything, and you're sort of trying to look at the water that's coming off the back here, how long that was going off the back, and it would have been a few seconds at, if anything at all. And you should be able to see out this end, if I was losing water, if the water was dropping off for a second and then building back up. Now, what I've done is I've worked a little area, about 4 inches. Because I'm not exactly sure where the gold is here. And I don't know if it's down a bit deeper, if it's just in this top 4 inches. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to give this a clean out. Then I'll do the next 4 inches and see what we're getting out of each layer. And hopefully we've got some gold. I always try and look in there and see, but at 11 degrees it backs up a tad, but I'm happy for it to back up a little bit than be dumping all the gold through. And this is all heavy ironstone that's in there anyway, so I'm happy to capture that. I think I can see maybe possibly some lead up there, but we'll see what happens. Alright, I'll give this a clean out. I'll show you what I get in the pan, and then I'll do another time lapse of the next layer being dug. Alright, that's the gold from the first clean out. So that's not too bad. Should be able to see in the time lapse roughly how many sort of shovels I did, and that shovel that I'm using, it's not like a full shovel, it's been cut down for relic hunting, so it's got a sharp point, it's very thin, but yeah, so that's not too bad. I'm happy with that. I'll do the next layer and see what we reveal. Alright guys, what I've done, I initially started doing a probably 2 foot by 2 foot area. From there, I started working down and hit a bit of bedrock. So what I did was start working down into that bedrock. Now, because I'm going into another layer, what I did was I did a test pan. Always when you're digging, you want to test. Not that this video is really about digging, this is more about just this little plate that I've made for the hopper. But you want to do a test and just see what's coming out, if there's any gold. Now what I did get was 1 speck of gold and about 4 lead shots. And I ended up just tipping them straight back in. I wasn't too worried. But what I was testing, just to see if I'm losing those lead shots. They're round, so they'll roll a bit more. Yeah, they're heavy like gold, but they're round, so they may roll. And what I'm thinking there is that if the lead shots are going through, then maybe I'm losing stuff. So a little bit of material in there. What I'm going to do now is go down, right down at the bottom of this bedrock, and use the Yabby pump to suck out as much as I can and try and clean off the bedrock. Alright, better get to this and then back soon. Alright guys, just to finish this off, that's the goal for today. Pretty much run the high banker for about an hour. The material today was very, very clay material. It's shocking actually how bad it is. But yeah, it's just clay, so it takes a little bit of time to work. I probably all up, you can see roughly, by the time lapse how much I dug. Wasn't a great deal. Just takes a bit of time. Now, regardless of what setup you use or what angle you use on the hopper, as a lot of people will know with a high banker, you're going to have to get your hand in there and throw the rocks out, wash them about a little bit. I don't have great PSI, even though I'm running a 2,000 gallon pump. It's not great PSI, but that's just the way it is. But what I do like is having that channel underneath. The majority of the water goes that way. And what it doesn't do is wash all those rocks to near the end over the punch plate, block it up and have the water reducing. And I'm trying to keep the water flow in the actual mat as consistent as I possibly can. Alright, I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it might give you guys some ideas on coming up with your own thing, or you might tell me that I'm an idiot and I'm wasting my time and it doesn't really matter. Anyway, till the next time, see you all later. Just to throw this in, this is a little cart. So, battery at the bottom, couple of buckets, me pump, me hoses, high banker I've just strapped on, bait pump, and me shovel. The wheels aren't perfect for out here, but I'll tell you, it works a treat. Having that low center of gravity compared to me trolley, it doesn't tip, easy to handle. Put me pan just on my back, use those straps as a little backpack, and yeah, quite wrapped with that. So for a short little trip, rather than making a few trips, this makes it nice and easy.